Shame is a slow poison. It doesn't show up all at once. It seeps in through a joke, a sermon, a sideways glance from someone who thinks they know who you are, someone who decides you are who they allow you to be. They taught me to be ashamed before I even knew what pride felt like. I was taught to apologize for how I moved, how I loved, how I walked into a room and took up space without having the audacity to ask. I was taught that my queerness was dangerous, that my softness made me a target, that desire was dirty unless it belonged in the right kind of person, in the right kind of marriage, with the right kind of body. And I foolishly believed them. I remember the first time I heard the word faggot. It was shouted at me before I had even kissed anyone, before I even knew what that F word meant, before I even knew what I wanted, before I had language for anything that made sense to me in my own skin. That word, it stuck, and it hurt even though I didn't know what it meant. But nobody stood between me and it. Nobody protected me from it. And when no one protects you, you start believing that you are whatever it is they're calling you, whether you understand it or not. So I buried parts of me, and I buried them deep, far, far, far from the surface. I tried to perform straightness, tried to sanitize myself, smiled when I wanted to scream, dated people who made me feel smaller than, because small felt safer than real in most cases in my world. That is what shame does. It trains you to disappear in plain sight. It trains you to second-guess joy, to rehearse rejection before anyone even opens their mouth, even you. Why would you be rejected? Shame taught me silence, obedience, fake confidence, strategic invisibility, but it never, never taught me to love. That I had to learn myself. And I did. Not all at once and not perfectly, but relentlessly. I unlearned their discomfort. I stopped measuring myself against their fear. I kissed someone and did not apologize. I cried in public and I refused to feel weak. I showed my body scars, softness, one arm, and I called myself complete even if they didn't. But because of everything, I was complete, not in spite of what I was missing, but because of everything I had survived up to that point. I'm still learning how to love the parts of me they told me that were wrong. My voice, my wants, my boundaries, and they are mine. My wild, unapologetic tenderness. But what is that? What it is becoming. It's not just learning something new, it's burning down the lie and building the truth in its place. I once loved someone in secret because I thought it was the only way love could be safe. We texted, whispered, hid out in corners even, and I called it enough. But it wasn't. It absolutely was not. What it was survival. It was not the same as freedom, and Lord, I wanted freedom. Now, if I love someone, I will not hide it. Not again. Not ever again. I spent too many years watching joy walk right on by while I sat changed to what other people might think if I acknowledged it. They taught me to be ashamed, and I wore that lesson as my second skin. It wasn't fair, and I did outgrow it. I peeled it off layer by layer. I rewrote the story, and now I live in a body that I call home, a queerness I called sacred, and a life that is mine. What part of you did they teach you to hide? What piece of your truth are you still learning to love? Leave me a comment, or whisper it to yourself. Maybe write it down on a piece of paper and burn it. That's right, burn it. You don't owe anybody that explanation. But do not carry that shame forever. It was never yours to begin with.